There's no question now. We were fooled. We allowed ourselves to be fooled. But inevitably, we are now going to have to find out how we can extricate ourselves from this totally embarrassing situation. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy has strong views on this, president of the Janata Party. So does former High Commissioner to Pakistan, G. Parthasarathi. On a tricky and slippery ground tonight, trying to defend the government, is Sanjay Jha. Senior Italian journalist Maria Grazia is joining us from Delhi. Thank you, Maria, for joining us. Senior lawyer from Rome, Alexandro Maria Tirelli, is my first question, goes to you, sir. Mr. Tirelli, is this open deceit that the Italian government has indulged in your view? Clear and open deceit in the highest court, the Supreme Court of India?
Well, it's very difficult to me to comment the political position of Italian government. Of course, I'm a simple citizen and just a lawyer, so it's very difficult to me make serious commentary on my government. I think that we can, as a lawyer, I can share the position of the Prime Minister here and Foreign Minister, Mr. Terzi, in the sense that, according to our point of view, we don't want to enter so much in the Indian degree of justice. I think that what we can do is to issue for the application of international laws, and of course, in this matter, the international law that must be applied in this case is the IMO, and involving all the activities on the seas and regarding all the defense activities against pirates action. It's not up to me to comment if government...
Mr. Tirelli, I don't want you to comment on a political issue. I understand you cannot comment on a political issue. There are two issues here. Your government wants to question the jurisdiction of the government of India in holding the Marines. That's fine. My simple question is on something else. I want to go to G. Parthasarathi on this. Here is a commitment made by your government, signed by your ambassador, on the instructions of your Prime Minister's office and your foreign ministry, that we will return the Marines. That is the issue, isn't it, Mr. Parthasarathi?
Yes.
Mr. Parthasarathi is a former Indian diplomat. I'd like him to come in on that. Mr. Parthasarathi, your response to our guest from Italy, please.
Firstly, our own attitude.
Yes, I understand.
Look at the way we handled the Kim Devi affair.
Yes, I understand.
Look at the way that we handled the Katarochi affair. We allowed him to take away 3 million euros and $1 million, which he had in a British bank account from the Bofors payoffs, which the Interpol informed us about. Then we go to Argentina, and the Argentine court holds that the CBI had not done its homework. So finally, we come to this case. In this case, I cannot understand why a court should permit two accused people who are accused of murder to take a Christmas holiday.
Precisely.
I mean, will Italy grant two Indians Diwali holidays if they are accused of murder and tried in an Italian court? So I think one is the peculiar handling in this case. I am not, the Congress party and the ruling party says it is the judiciary, the others say no. But the fact is, India mishandled this. Now coming to the Italians, firstly, if they are guilty of deceit and duplicity. In the case, they first agreed to the trial here under reservations. Then they get a permission for these guys to come in Christmas, two killers whom it was totally wrong of us to allow. And then their ambassador gives a written assurance saying they will come back, and then they hold the high horse and say they won't come back. Now, this is a serious bilateral matter, and if you want somewhere down the line, I think it's time we got tough and put the Italians in their place.
Well, I go back to the lawyer. I'm coming back to the political part of this debate in some time. But I have a copy of the email,
sir,
Mr.
I just want to make a commentary. Sorry,
absolutely, but Mr. Tirelli,
because we're talking about.
Go ahead. You want to respond directly to the former
I'm waiting
ambassador?
for your question.
No. My question.
No,
to you,
I just want to give a short response. Yeah.
No, please.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
I would like to respond very shortly to the other commentary, in the sense that we are in an international field. We're not talking about contract or something. And when we talk about commitment, what is a commitment in the international field? If the data, if the scenario is changing throughout the time, what is the right commitment?
What scenario changed?
This is the point, because maybe no. Well, the scenario is completely changed since the start of the story to now, in the sense that, of course, Italian government has the duty to defend to very proudly to officers working so much.
But Mr. Tirelli, you cannot lie in a you cannot. Is the policy, Mr. Tirelli, is the policy of your government to lie in a court? I have an email which proves that your Prime Minister and your Foreign Minister and your Ambassador gave an undertaking officially.
Yes.
If you want, I'll send you a copy of this email. You gave an official undertaking to the Indian Supreme Court. Is it the policy of the Italian government to lie?
Can I make you a question, sir?
Yes.
I understand. I want to make you a question, sir. I just, and in a very honest and fair way, I just want to know from you if perhaps Italian government is a subject that can be judged or evaluated in a an Indian court, in a foreign
because you
court.
killed 2 Indians. Your Marines killed 2 Indians. Your Marines killed 2 Indians.
This is the point. This is the juridical point.
No, it's not a juridical point. You gave a commitment.
No? It's not a statement.
Subramaniam Swamy, I throw that to you. Subramaniam Swamy, I want you to respond. Ms. Subramaniam Swamy is a well-known Indian politician as well as a very experienced lawyer. Your response?
Well, first of all, the Italian ambassador volunteered.
The point is this:
he was not summoned by the Supreme Court, and then he didn't give a written statement
in the sense of an accusation, a one-way accusation against the Italian government, I can stay here and smile all the time.
Who's going to do the talking, him or me?
Mr. Tirelli, just listen to Subramaniam Swamy's point of view.
If you want judge,
Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, just hear Mr. Subramaniam Swamy's point of view. He is answering the question which you raised. Yes, Dr. Swamy, go ahead.
Yeah, the Italian ambassador volunteered to participate in the Indian judicial process. He came, again he's started talking, these fellows don't know. Shall I continue?
Well, sir.
Yes, sir, please do.
If I can.
Please do.
All right, please tell him that the proper procedure in India is that we listen to each other. What I want to say is that the Italian ambassador volunteered to enter into the Indian judicial process, and having entered, he gave a sworn affidavit, not a written statement as Mr. Parsati said, a sworn statement, which is an affidavit, and now he has done exactly, or his government to whom he said he was representing in the affidavit, has done exactly the opposite of what he said would happen. And what he said, he takes personal responsibility to ensure that it happened. And therefore, he has committed contempt of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And therefore, we don't go into the question whether the Indian government was a bunch of fools or they didn't properly handle it. We now want to know, as a sovereign nation who has been lied to by another nation, we take some steps. What step? The obvious first step is to issue contempt notice to the Italian Prime Minister and also ensure that he doesn't leave the country.
Well, you know, there is a simple response to your question, Mr. Tirelli. You know, you say why? What is the jurisdiction of the Indians in the matter?
Yeah, I know.
No,
I know that.
You are
sir.
asking today, Mr. Tirelli. 1 minute. You are
Well,
saying
in the sense, I think India has no jurisdiction.
no,
Well,
Mr. Tirelli.
If I can, sorry, if it's a debate, two-person talking.
Yeah, then
it's just a one-way talking, I go away because it's impossible to accept this kind of debate.
In India,
it's
you have to listen to questions.
Unbelievable.
You want to listen to questions? You don't listen to questions in Italy? I don't know. In Indian discussions, we listen to the questions. Thank you very much.
No, I listen to question. It's 1 hour that I'm listening to your question.
Thank you.
The question is lasting, you know.
Really?
So it's 1 hour question.
I want to hear.
I don't remember the question because it's past 1 hour.
When you stop, when you can stop, then I'll ask the question. I don't like to speak over someone. My question is this: by returning the Indian Marines after the Christmas
I'm
holidays,
waiting for your end.
By returning the Indian Marines after their Christmas holiday, your government already did it not accept the jurisdiction of India to hear the matter.
Yeah. Well, we can say that Italian diplomats are very good because if Italy can foolish an important country as India, that means that Italy is a very interpreter of foreign politics. I don't think so, really. I don't think so. This is
I put that question to Maria.
Something that of course we don't have to face the situation one against the other. I think that the point is to try to find solution in a peaceful way, because I'm so sure that the Italian government doesn't want to face up an important country, especially in financial and economics fields as India.
Yes.
I think that India is what China is one of the new most important economies in the world. So I think that.
I'm glad you recognize that point.
Of course, we have a good tradition.
But no,
we have a good tradition of friendship with India.
Maria, tell me, Maria Grazia is a senior Italian journalist in Delhi. If Italy did not accept India's jurisdiction, why did it return the soldiers after Christmas? They needn't have come back.
But at the Christmas time, the situation was a little bit different.
What situation?
Because the verdict of Supreme Court, it was not there. Exactly. I mean, it's better also to remind that on the 18th of January, there was a Supreme Court sentence. And this sentence, it was quite, it said that it said that Italian doesn't have jurisdiction, but it said also that the two countries, they have to find a way. And that's why this kind of special court that it was suggesting from the
I don't understand,
Court.
Maria.
So,
Maria,
in the light of this situation,
no, Maria,
different,
No, Maria, it's not different. I don't understand the situation where if the verdict goes for you, you have faith in the legal system. It goes against you, you have no faith in the legal system. Your foreign minister said in February that we really, we feel great satisfaction in the manner in which the legal process in India is continuing. I have that statement on record. But anyway. Yes.
I mean, I tried just to explain that there were different situations.
What was different situation?
It was a situation.
What situation was different?
Situation.
What situation was different?
There is a Supreme Court verdict.
I don't know
I'm a journalist. I'm not representing.
What is the Supreme Court verdict?
But
let me tell you what the Supreme Court verdict is.
Yes, Mr. Patsati.
I agree. I fully agree with
the Supreme Court verdict.
I fully agree
Mr. Patsati.
In the sense that you can.
The Supreme Court verdict, which is the Supreme Court verdict which he is supporting, said that they will come back, face trial, and every issue will be examined by a special tribunal. So the Supreme Court, she says she supports the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said very clearly that government will set up a special tribunal to try them, and they will come back, and the Italian ambassador agreed to that.
The additional Solicitor General, this story is very
Italian
detailed.
ambassador agreed to that in a very difficult. Well, Italian ambassador did his best in a difficult situation, sir. The ship Lexi was protected by the rules of the World Food Program. And as you know,
what are you saying, sir? What are you saying, sir? What are you saying, sir? You are so. I don't want to just interrupt you there, but I must tell you that you are not just wrong, Mr. Mirelli. You are completely wrong.
I'm completely wrong, I know, but you're completely right. This is
I can read out the
right, but thanks God, the Mariners are here. And I'm very happy of that.
They didn't go there. They fled.
I'm very happy of that because
they fled. They fled after lying.
Sincerely, because if this is the environment, no. The point is that in this kind, I don't want to enter in the jurisdiction theme in the jurisdiction.
Thank you, Mr. Mirelli. I'd like to go to Sanjay Jha at this stage. Sanjay, the additional Solicitor General of India did not know that Italians can exercise postal ballot. Isn't that surprising?
Well, I can tell you a couple of points, very, very quick points.
No, isn't that surprising?
No, I'll tell you what. I mean, there seems to be some ambiguity in that regard. Let me explain that. Firstly, the Prime Minister has sent a very categorical, non-negotiable message today that it means the government means serious business. And number two, the very fact that Harish Salve himself has quit as a senior counsel for the Italian government for whom he was fighting it out in the courts is enough of a manifestation of the fact that the Italians have got it wrong. Yeah. Now, there can be an issue they could have debated on the territorial jurisdiction or where the fishermen were,
do you think all Italians
once you give an affidavit to the Supreme Court,
do you think all Italians should be allowed to go for Christmas holidays and to vote in Italy?
Well, I can tell you what I sense here.
What
I sense here is the Supreme Court acted in good faith.
Answer the question.
And the fact that they came back perhaps gave them the confidence that, maybe they will vote and come back. Now, on the issue of postal ballots, I'll come to that as well. I think, I read the text that is there actually on the website of the Italian government, translated in English, and it says that the citizens can vote even if they are abroad. Now, the question is that however the Italian ambassador and the government gives an affidavit to the Supreme Court
what are you saying?
saying that they cannot vote by postal ballot
You've got a smartphone. You've got a smartphone.
Owing to the extraordinary circumstances.
Does Sanjay Jha have a smartphone?
Yeah, but it doesn't have an internet network.
If you get an internet on the phone, you go back after the program and find out how long it takes you to Google search the fact that Italians can vote on postal ballot. How does your additional Solicitor General not know that?
But you see, I'll tell you what
how do you not know that?
1 minute.
No, I want to know.
If you have the Italian government submitting an affidavit in the Supreme Court saying that these two Marine guards had to go to vote there, the postal ballot would not apply on account of the extraordinary circumstances.
For what?
For
what? Why would you want to go to Italy?
No, 1 minute.
To vote.
The point I'm trying to infer is because they were actually in no man's land, whether they were arrested or whether they would be arrested here, whether they were under trial. Does that give them the right to vote, etc.? That's something that can be contested.
I want to go back to
how can the Supreme Court not accept an affidavit given by a responsible government?
How can the Supreme Court?
I mean, I would not blame the Supreme Court for that.
Why should the Supreme Court not believe that the additional Solicitor General did not try hard enough to find out whether you can have postal ballot or not?
Well, I can tell you for a fact that's the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to answer.
Oh, now you push it to the Supreme Court.
1 minute. As far as let me tell you, when a government of a country, a sovereign elected democratic government.
What about our government?
No, let me tell you, that's what sovereign ratings are all about. If India says that I'm going to honor my statement, I'm going to honor my debt, you're expected to honor it under all circumstances.
But what if there is no debt?
I don't think you can even blame the Supreme Court.
What if there is no debt? In this case, there was no need to go to vote.
Well, I can tell you that's a call that I think the Supreme Court took in good faith.
Court took, or the additional Solicitor General said?
No, what would the government have to do with it? I mean, there was Mr. Harish Salve made a case for the Italians. The Supreme Court agreed. And remember, they came back from Christmas, so
Subramaniam Swamy,
boasted by it.
Subramaniam Swamy, can Sanjay Jha backing the government today completely shoot off the shoulders of the Supreme Court? Or has the government failed to do something here?
Well, you see, we have a problem because on one side is Italy and the other side is a government with an Italian connection. So he is on a compulsion to defend whatever the government does.
Mr. Swamy, who in the government has got an Italian connection? Can you please clarify? You're on national television. It's important not to make innuendos. Be explicit, Dr. Swamy. I think the country wants to know.
I will be explicit if you want.
Who in the government has got an Italian connection?
This government is run by Ms. Sonia Gandhi, who happens to be an Italian.
So you're back to your personal maligning campaign. I mean, he's taking away from the debate.
He's a good friend of one of them.
Now, I think you're lowering the standard of this debate. We were talking about something entirely different. You're back to your personal, absolutely paranoid and obsessive campaign against the Gandhi family. Dr. Swami, grow up. It's never too late.
The question that has to be answered is that if you've given a sworn affidavit, if you give a sworn affidavit,
I thought for a change we were on the same side.
Misfortunes is the Congress party doesn't represent itself here. It sends hacks to represent them.
Oh God!
So
and
therefore,
Dr. Swami,
we have to therefore see what that affidavit means.
So far, I have not been thrown out of the university for writing malicious articles. Dr. Swami, I don't abuse people on Twitter. I think here we are talking about the Italian government having committed misdemeanors against the Indian government. Why are you making this into a petty game with your whatever paranoid obsessions about people? For once, let's talk as Indians here. This is the Prime Minister has made a statement. For heaven's sake, he's made it to the floor of Parliament. Let's talk about an Italian government's, shall we say, taking India for granted.
No, you certainly Italian government, but the fact also is, Mr. Parthasarathy, that our government, did we guide our Supreme Court on whether or not the Italians have to be physically present to vote in an election? Or was it a case of slipshod homework? If it is a slipshod homework,
I think
it is a huge oversight.
Let
Mr. Parthasarathy come in.
But I want to respond to that.
That's correct.
Sanjay, you want to respond?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I will say this very quickly. I agree to the fact. I can tell you there are 2 points that we should not ignore. Number one, from the time these Marine Guards were taken into custody, the trial has really been too long. I mean, you can't deny that the Italians have a right to expect that 1 year is a long time and nothing.
Oh, you are actually arguing for the Italians here.
No. You got to make this.
You're arguing for the Italians here today.
I'm not. I'm making it. That can be an argument that they can put forth. The second part, what the Supreme Court has mentioned, that the setting up of a special court and making sure that the trial ends as early as possible is a valid point that the government needs to definitely respond to. I think these are valid
I want
points.
to answer that. I want to answer, Sanjay, I want to answer, I want to answer you on that.
Sure.
The Supreme Court expected that, like in the case of the rape and murder here, the tribunal they had asked for would be set up within a matter of a week.
I agree. This
became a tangle between the Home Ministry and Shipping Ministry, and neither could set up the court.
Well, that is not being denied.
So the reality
I think that is a fact of life. It's a Supreme Court statement, and
that is the reality.
You're right,
now,
needs to be done. I agree with you.
That doesn't, listen to me. Yeah. That does not absolve the Italian government of fulfilling the provisions of a sworn written affidavit given by its ambassador.
Absolutely.
Now, if you ask me, our Italian friend was talking about great commercial ties. I know they want to make money from us. But the fact of the matter is, if the government does not expel this ambassador within the next week, it's going to be in trouble. Second, it's time that we didn't send an ambassador.
No, I can't.
Reduce the contact, the level of relations with Italy. And
Mr.
then
Parthasarathy, can the government
really giving them government and defense contracts?
Subramaniam Swami, Subramaniam Swami, do you back the sacking of the ambassador?
The Vienna Convention which, listen, don't teach me diplomacy. There is nothing in the Vienna Convention which prevents us from expelling an ambassador.
Okay.
Ms. Subramaniam Swami, is it time to expel the ambassador for some tough medicine with the Italians?
This is a time the ambassador must come before the bar of the court and face a punishment for contempt of court.
And what if we don't push that line? What if our government doesn't push that line?
I wouldn't be surprised. I know that's why I said as gentlemanly as possible, there's an Italian connection. Therefore, they won't go very far.
Well, people are watching this. What if that happens? Maria, what do you think? What do you think will happen if India, enforces the law in this case, as most Indians would like to see the government do?
I really believe that we have to remind also that India and Italy, they enjoy really good relations, and we have to try, to try to isolate this case from the from the bilateral relations that are really good. So I know that now the situation is very controversial, it's very complicated, the mood here in India it's very bad, of course, but you know, we have to try to talk.
Yeah, sure, but we do.
Dialogue is the
yes, but in May 2012, this is very important. I want to say this at the end. In May 2012, the then Italian Foreign Minister Giulio Terzi put out a tweet. In that tweet, he said, "In no case should the ship have entered Indian waters. The polemics on responsibility I leave to others." His tweet clearly proves that the Marines navigated into Indian waters and shot up fishermen. End of story. They should therefore be tried in India.
That's not true, sir.
That's
because
exactly what he tweeted, Mr. Mirelli. Uncomfortable for you, I'm sorry.
The water limits are different in any law. For example, the water limits are different, are
Gentlemen,
not
we can
equal
go
in any country.
I have only quoted what the Italian foreign minister said.
You are telling a wrong thing.
Check the tweets.
Check
the tweets, Mr. Mirelli. Check the tweets. We'll continue the debate.
The limits are not equal for other. This is my opinion.
Well, you stand
anyway,
by your opinion.
I completely share the position of Maria Grazia.
Sure you do. But that's why there's a difference of opinion. And Sanjay Jha, you are not backing the Italians on this debate, I hope.
I'm not.
Thank you.
We got time till March 23rd.
Can I make
I'm confident
can I say something,
can be a diplomatic breakthrough.
Sure.
In the interest of
no, there is no break.
I think it's important to make that happen as well. I don't think we should. This has to be precipitated into a crisis which cannot be controlled. There is time. There is still 10 days more to go. I'm sure both the governments will work out a meaningful solution.
It is precisely this attitude of this government which makes Maldives kick us on our teeth, lose respect all over our neighborhood. It's time we asserted ourselves.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on that debate. We're tracking that story.